NXT opened up tonight with the general manager, Robert Stone, ordering that Naruto and Tony D'Angelo do not come in contact tonight before their main event, which was a street fight for the NXT Championship. This came off the heels of their brawl to end last week's show. Then Thea Hale walked in the office, followed by Natty. I just thought this was a very odd opening for the show with the woman being added here. I think he should have just focused on the NXT Championship match. So you had a Dark State 6-man tag team match that they won. I don't give a shit. We go to the women's locker room, and I have to say, there was some really bad acting here. This is a big problem with NXT. Probably the worst part is the awful acting, and we got some bad ones here. I did like Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair. They come off as natural, but I thought the others here really struggled with their lines. So after the break, Kendall Gray was out next with Ren Sinclair. Then her opponent, Lola Vice, came out, the former champion, and they went back and forth on the mic. I just thought with Lola, she sounded too much like she's trying to memorize her lines, and I just thought Kendall came off a lot more natural here, and this was done to set up their rematch, which is going to be an NXT Underground match in 2 weeks on the August 4th edition of NXT, and this will be 2 days after SummerSlam. The first thing I thought was this is their way of writing off Lola from NXT, because they did something very similar with Blake Monroe when she lost to Tatum Paxley in the casket match a couple days after WrestleMania this year, and then she was done in NXT. They're doing NXT Underground for Kendall to beat Lola in her own match, and once Lola loses a match like that, she's done, because they're not going to do Undergrounds on the main roster. So, I mean, she's done in NXT after that. And I just feel like this is their way of writing off Lola Vice before she goes to the main roster. So I think in 2 weeks, this might be the end of Lola in NXT. And I think it's due. I think she needs to go to the main roster. I think Raw can use someone like her. We had a Tony D'Angelo and Naruto video promo. Keanu Carver was out next. I don't give a shit. Then Hank and Tank were out. We had Keanu Carver against Tank. Oh my god, I don't give a shit about this match. Carver won, and he attacked Tank after the match. EK Prosper made the save. Hank and Tank hit their finisher, and then EK hit his finisher as well. Whatever. Natty and her crew, that consists of Carmen Petrovich and Nikita Lyons, bumped into Thea Hale backstage. They traded some words. And I'm thinking, why did they even need to have Natty and Thea in the opening? I just think they took away from the opening because they already had their own segment, which would lead into Thea interfering in Natty's match, which actually made sense. Here, I don't know why they had to have them in the opening, because I think it took away from the focus of it being just on the main event. Shyla Hill, Danhausen had a segment in Danhausen's lair. This was pre-recorded. It was about Shiloh getting a tooth from Danhausen because he still has the teeth gimmick, and he wanted the tooth, and Danhausen couldn't get money for it. Instead, he got some crypto. I think it was Bitcoin or whatever it was. It was a stupid fucking segment. They're overexposing Danhausen. Why is he appearing on NXT now? People will start to churn on Danhausen, and his act, like, he can only work in small doses. If you overexpose him, the people will get tired of him, and they will begin to churn on him. Jada Parker was out next, and Natty was out with Carmen and Nikita, and we get Natty and Jada in a rematch after Natty summoned her to the sharpshooter. I'll be honest, I'm just not a fan of Jada Parker anymore. There was a time where I was really high on her, and this is not just because of the stuff with Jey Uso and the affair and her causing a divorce, which did happen, but I've soured on Jada Parker for a long time in these last few months, and she came back earlier this year. She is not the same performer. Something feels off. I don't see that superstar potential anymore, and she locked Natty in the sharpshooter here. I didn't like this match that much. And what happened was they had this thing where Thea and Carmen were arguing over to throw in the towel. And then the towel gets thrown in, and Natty loses by technical submission. And she didn't do a good job, by the way, of selling the sharpshooter. Natty did. But it's a technical submission win by Jada, and it turns out to be Thea Hale, who snuck in and threw in the towel to cost Natty the match. And she didn't really lose. Like, she didn't give up. But I guess Thea is now going to be aligned with Jada Parker. I don't need to see that. We got an NXT spotlight on Tony D'Angelo, and then Izzy Dame and Nico Vance are out next. We go to the back. Kalani Jordan was upset with Robert Stone. She claims she won her match last week. And I really think with Kalani, she needs to go to the main roster now. There's nothing left for her in NXT. I guess she can feud with Kendall and eventually lose to her. That's fine, but I feel like she should go to NXT now. OTM walked up to Stone. Why are these guys still here? They've done nothing for a while. Why are they still here? Then Sean Spears, Nico Vance was in the ring, and then Sean Spears appeared behind Nico and attacked him before their match. And we get Nico and Sean. So Lizzie Rain stopped Izzy Dean from interfering. And then Sean Spears basically did an Eddie Guerrero tribute where he grabbed a chair, and as the referee was distracted with the woman, Sean Spears threw the chair to Nico Vance, who caught it, and then Spears flopped down. So it looks like that Vance hit Spears with the chair, and the referee saw that, and he suspended Nico Vance, and Sean Spears gets the win, and there was Eddie Guerrero chant, which always puts a smile on my face. So it is what it is. Not much to say here. It's fine. I don't care about this feud, but I did like the Eddie Guerrero tribute. I have to say this. Cam Hendricks absolutely sucks. He should be let go. And I don't call for people to lose their jobs. I don't like seeing it. But this guy is fucking shit. He is untalented. He is nothing. He is no good. His promos suck. He is garbage. It's like, what the fuck is he supposed to be? I'm like this college athlete. What the fuck are you doing in a wrestling company? What the fuck are you doing in WWE? This guy is fucking garbage. Cam Hendricks fucking sucks. And he's in the cafe, and he's going back and forth with Robert Stone. He can't compete because of his stupid injury, and he is so bad. Like, why is he even on my TV screen? Like, get this fucking NIL bullshit guy the fuck out of here. He's garbage. Anyway, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights walk in. This is just painful to watch. I mean, I like Miles, but this was fucking painful. It sets up a They want to go for the tag team titles. I don't know. And it sets up a match between Cam Hendricks and Miles Bourne next week. Why are you making me watch Miles Bourne fucking face this loser, Cam Hendricks, next week? I don't give a fuck about that match. This fucking sucks. Cam Hendricks deserves to be fired. He's so fucking terrible. He does not belong on TV. We got a Rena Volcan video promo, and then Skylar Grey was in the ring before Rena made her entrance. We get the match, which I thought was just going to be like a slaughter here, but Rena against Skylar. Man, Rena is thick as fuck. Holy crap. Not a total squash. Skylar did get some offense, but Rena eventually picked her up, put her in a torch rack, and submitted Skylar to win her debut in NXT. I like the Nikki Blackheart's name a lot better. I just think that's a better name. But I guess they want to go with Rena Vulcan. I don't know. But she won here. She looked good. I'll say she has a presence to her. I'll say that. There's definitely a presence I felt with her. Robert Stone was eating Kentucky Fried Chicken's popcorn chicken. Lucky guy. I'm a huge fan of that. You know, in Canada, one of my favorite meals always was to get the popcorn chicken with poutine, like as a meal. And we get poutine here. KFC is the best poutine ever. They also have awesome popcorn chicken. I'm not a fan of their regular chicken. It usually sucks, but like their popcorn chicken's awesome. Anyway, then Charlotte Hill walked in. This was a funny segment. Look, I don't like Charlotte Hill, but I do like Kentucky Fried Chicken's KFC's popcorn chicken. Well, they don't call it. They only call it KFC because they don't want to talk about fried chicken anymore. That's what I've always heard. But anyway, I do like I'm a fan of the popcorn chicken. There was a mysterious arrival next. We found out what it was later in the show. Then they preview next week's show. Naraku was out next, followed by Tony D'Angelo, who is the NXT champion. And we get our main event. The NXT championship defended in a street fight. Tony D'Angelo defends his title against Naraku. So right away, early on, Naraku missed Choni with red mist, actually. And then they used a whole bunch of weapons. This just felt like a plunder match. I've seen these. I don't like these matches where they just throw all the weapons in the ring. I'm just so sick of these plunder matches. But we had the steel steps, we had steel chair, trash cans, and kendo sticks used early on. There was a cool spot where I think Choni suplexed Naraku onto a bunch of folding chairs in the ring, which looked painful. And then a table was set up, a ladder was brought out from under the ring, and there was a catapult into a trash can by a Choni to Naraku, which looked pretty good. Fans got into it. I just felt like I've seen too many plunder matches this year. Choni used a ladder on Naraku. And then Naraku actually drives Choni through the announce booth. And then later, Naraku would go for the mist again, but this time Choni blocks it with his hands. And then instead, he uses the mist he has on his hands and like rubs it in Naraku's face, blinding him. And then he beat the hell out of him with a kendo stick. And then and then there are steps in the ring. Choni gets Naraku to the steps. He chokeslams him off the steps, and he drives him through a table in the ring and pins him 1, 2, 3. Choni Angelo gets the win. He finally defeats Naraku. He already beat him once, but like he kind of vanquishes him after hitting the dead to rights. This felt like the end of the feud, and this felt like it was done now. And I was thinking, like, why even sign Evil? Like, why would you have him just lose again to Tony D'Angelo? But then seeing what happened next makes sense because Mike Santana came out through the crowd. They did not call him Mike Santana, so I guess we're getting a name change. Vic Joseph was he was being deliberate not to say a name. Like, everyone knew who it was, but like they wouldn't say his name. So I guess we're getting a name change. They change everyone's name now. But Mike Santana, formerly known as Mike Santana, whoever he's going to be known as now, is in NXT. He's done with TNA. Contract expired. He's in NXT now, and we'll see what happens next. I guess it makes sense for him to feud with Tony D'Angelo after this. And I don't know where Naraku goes from here. I don't think we're going to get the host of Torture in NXT now, but overall with NXT this week, the whole thing was really built around the street fight, which I enjoyed. I thought that was a fun main event, and I liked the debut at the end, so that was good. I'd recommend just watching that, and the first like 3/4 of the show are completely skippable in my opinion. But main event delivered, had a good match, and it had a good surprise at the end with the debut of the man formerly known as Mike Santana. I almost call him Santana Garrett. That's not his name. He's Mike Santana, at least for now, until they change his name. I don't know what's going to be. But that's what they do now, WWE. They change people's names.